and welcome back to Vlogtober. So today I'm going to talk about family and connections that we have with the spirit world. I guess you could say it started with my great uncle, Uncle Tom. He was amazing. Unfortunately he passed away when I was 10. And so I didn't get to talk to him much about it, but he was really into astrology, and he could easily just look at the stars and tell you your horoscope, basically. And he would do all these really intricate, detailed charts of your astrology. He was a member of a society, maybe it's a cult, I'm not sure, but they're called the AMORKS, Order of the Rosicrucian, and they are based in America. And he had a uniform, he had a little badge, a little pin badge. I really wanted to wear the pin on my wedding day as, like a little tribute to him, but we couldn't find it, unfortunately. He used to get sent assignments and he had to pass tests. He used to go to meetings in Cardiff. I don't know if they still do meetings, but it's all very secret. They do a lot of experiments, like out-of-body experiences, and so basically he had to pass all of these tests, and he did. And his dream was to go to America, to the AMORKS ranch or whatever. Unfortunately he never made it there, but it was really interesting, and he was sworn to secrecy, and so he wouldn't tell us anything to do with it. It was a massive part of his life. His whole kind of life revolved around the AMORKS and the experiments that they did and the training they gave him. It wasn't until he passed away that we really knew anything about what he was doing with the AMORKS. After he passed away, we found his diaries. My Uncle Tom was a desert rat in World War II, and he has a couple of diaries that kind of documents what he was doing, or just what his duties were, how much he won or usually lost on card games. My aunt I've got the World War II diaries here, but she read through them all, and she came across other diaries that he had written, and it documented everything that he experienced with the AMORKS and his own experiences, his own experiments that he did at home for the AMORKS, basically. He wrote about his out-of-body experiences, where he would go during these out-of-body experiences, like different astral planes, and yeah, just a lot of freaky things like that. And I think there was something about levitation in there as well. I'm not quite sure about that, but the out-of-body experiences were pretty crazy. I didn't actually get to read them myself, unfortunately. I think my auntie got really freaked out by them, and I think she destroyed them. Well, I've asked for the diaries, but I've not received them, so I think that they were destroyed, unfortunately. And other things that my family have experienced was my gran. When my mum and my auntie was kids, they were in school, and my granddad was at work, and he was a coal miner in the front of the valleys, and they had this thing called red diffusion. I think it's like a radio station through your TV, I think. I'm not exactly sure. She had that on, and she heard this news broadcast. It was breaking news. A bridge had collapsed, and people, we were walking across it at the time, they were driving across it, and the bridge basically collapsed over water, and the cars just fell into the water, and hundreds of people died. And this was like, the broadcast was going on and on with like updates. My grandma came home and she told him all about it, about the news broadcast. Like my granddad, he listens to the radio every day while he's going to sleep and when he wakes up, and radios are a big thing for my granddad. He knows everything in the news. He listens to it. So my gran was like, did you hear about that bridge collapsing? It was in England, I think it was. I can't remember exactly where. And he was like, no, I haven't heard anything like that. That's strange. And there was nothing in the papers or anything. Then I think it was the next day, the actual event happened, and there was a bridge that collapsed in England, killing hundreds of people because the cars were falling into the water. Other things, my nan, my dad's mum, she's passed away now. She was having dreams. Her friend's daughter had passed away. She was only a child when she passed away. She was buried. And then my gran started having these dreams. The child wasn't dead, and that she was scratching on the lid of the coffin. And this went on for a long time, like weeks. And in the end, they actually got the coffin dug up, and the child was actually buried alive, and she had been scratching at the coffin lid, and there were scratch marks in there, and there were splinters in her nails, and they were bloody, and it was awful. But yeah, my nana was very psychic also. One premonition that my mum had was really freaky. She dreamt that my dad was going on a business trip in England, and he was driving up, and he was behind a bus, and he was stuck in this traffic jam, and my dad isn't the most patient with people, and so he decided to just pull out and try and overtake the bus. And in the dream, he pulled out, and as he pulled out, a lorry was coming the other way, a truck, and smashed him head on, and he died. So she woke up, and the dream still stayed with, like, it was a horrible dream, obviously. So she told my dad what happened, and he was actually going away on business that day. He was getting ready to go and drive up to England to go to his business trip. So my mum told him what happened, and she said, please be careful today, I've got this horrible feeling. And he was like, oh, don't be so silly, like, and she was like, just humour me, just be safe. Later that day, he was in England driving to his hotel when he got stuck in a traffic jam behind a bus. He got really, really impatient, and he thought, fuck, this, and he starts to pull out to overtake the bus, and then he remembered my mum's dream and pulled back in just as the lorry came zooming past that would have killed him. A premonition that I had was very, very different. I have had a lot of dreams that's come true.